This is Tuvalu, a tiny nation of just 9 low-lying atolls scattered across the Pacific Ocean. Population, around 11,000 people. Land area, only 26 square kilometers. Smaller than Manhattan. Highest point, barely 4.6 meters above sea level. For decades, scientists have warned that this country might disappear from the map due to rising seas. In 2025, the threat feels closer than ever. Regular king tide flooding, eroded coastlines, and projections showing much of the capital underwater by 2050. But Tuvalu isn't giving up. They're reclaiming land, building digital backups, and fighting for their sovereignty to continue, even if the physical islands go under. Let's start with the map. Pull up the Pacific Ocean, that massive body of water between Hawaii and Australia. Now zoom in on the area halfway between them. Keep zooming. Those 9 tiny dots you're seeing, that's an entire country. Tuvalu consists of 9 atolls and reef islands. Funafuti, the capital, sits roughly in the center. Then there's Nanumea to the north, Nanumanga, Niu Tau, Nui, Vaitupu, Nukufetau, Nukulele, and finally Niulakita to the south. These islands are spread across 676 kilometers of open ocean. That's like stretching from Washington, D.C. to Boston, but with only tiny specks of land in between. Here's the shocking scale. The total land area is just 26 square kilometers. To put that in perspective, Central Park in New York is 3.4 square kilometers. You could fit the entire country of Tuvalu into Manhattan 7 times over. Vatican City gets called tiny, but Tuvalu makes it look massive by comparison. Now, let's talk about what makes Tuvalu's geography truly extreme and truly vulnerable. These aren't volcanic islands with mountains and valleys. They're atolls, ring-shaped coral reefs that encircle turquoise lagoons with narrow strips of habitable land built up from coral debris and sand. On the map, they look like thin crescents or broken rings surrounding blue centers. The highest natural point in the entire country is on Niulakita Atoll, reaching just 4.6 meters above sea level. That's about 15 feet, the height of a single-story house roof. Most of Tuvalu sits even lower, at 2 to 3 meters above the waves. Some areas are barely 1 meter up. Look at Funafuti on the map, the main atoll where the capital sits. The habitable land is concentrated on Fungafale Islet, a narrow strip often less than 400 meters wide. Stand in the middle and you can literally see ocean on both sides. There are no hills to climb, no high ground to escape to. It's just flat coral sand, coconut palms, and water everywhere. Zoom out on the map again. Tuvalu has no rivers, no lakes, no mountains, no valleys. The entire country is essentially a collection of sandbars held together by coral reefs and vegetation. The isolation on the map tells its own story. The nearest substantial landmass is Fiji, over 1,000 kilometers away. Flights arrive only a few times per week via Fiji. This is one of the most remote countries on Earth, receiving fewer than 2,000 tourists annually. Yet despite this tiny footprint, over 11,000 people live here. That's a population density of 400 people per square kilometer overall. But look closer at Funafuti. About 6,000 people are packed onto Fungafale Islet alone, making it one of the most densely populated places in the Pacific. The people of Tuvalu are Polynesian, descended from seafaring ancestors who voyaged from Samoa and Tonga over 1,000 years ago. Their creation mythology speaks of islands born from the body of an eel and a flounder, creatures that sacrifice themselves to create land from the endless ocean. It's a fitting origin story for a nation so dominated by water. Daily life in Tuvalu blends ancient traditions with modern realities. Traditional fale houses with thatched roofs stand alongside concrete buildings. Communities gather in manipas, open-sided meeting houses where decisions are made collectively, as they have been for generations. The diet centers on what little the land and vast sea provide: coconuts, breadfruit, taro, a root crop grown in special flooded pits, and fish, lots of fish. 97% of the population practices Christianity, primarily congregationalism, with church forming the backbone of community life. Despite their isolation, Tuvaluans maintain strong storytelling traditions, communal living practices, and a deep seafaring heritage that connects them to the wider Polynesian world. With virtually no tourism and limited natural resources, Tuvalu found an unexpected gold mine, their internet domain. In 1998, Tuvalu leased the rights to .tv, their country code that happened to match the abbreviation for television. Those two letters now generate millions annually from streaming platforms and content creators worldwide. Geographic luck turned digital gold. Tuvalu also earns significant revenue from fishing licenses. While they have just 26 square kilometers of land, their exclusive economic zone covers 757,000 square kilometers of ocean, nearly 30,000 times more ocean than land. Foreign vessels pay millions for access to these tuna-rich waters. The country is also pursuing 100% renewable energy, already heavily dependent on solar power. But all of this, the culture, the economy, the ingenuity, faces one overwhelming threat. Sea levels around Tuvalu are rising at nearly double the global average, 3.9 to 5.9 millimeters per year. Over 3 decades, the ocean has climbed 15 centimeters higher. When your country barely reaches 5 meters above sea level, every centimeter counts. King tides now regularly flood Funafuti's streets and homes. Salt water contaminates drinking water and destroys taro pits. Coastlines erode away. By 2050, much of Funafuti could sit below high tide. By 2100, over 90% of land faces regular flooding, potentially over 100 flood days annually. Here's where geography becomes destiny. These islands have zero elevation to retreat to. The map shows the brutal truth. No inland, no highlands, no backup. When the ground floor floods, there is no second floor. Interestingly, some atolls have gained land area from storm sediment, but land can grow while becoming uninhabitable. Saltwater intrusion makes it impossible to grow food or access fresh water. Tuvalu refuses to vanish. The Tuvalu Coastal Adaptation Project has reclaimed 7.8 hectares in Funafuti, land raised above flood levels and designed to survive beyond 2100. More reclamation is planned. The Future Now project is even bolder, creating a complete digital recreation of the islands. If physical territory submerges, Tuvaluan culture and governance will exist in the metaverse, a nation without land. Legal innovations are groundbreaking. In 2023, Tuvalu amended its constitution, declaring statehood persists even if territory becomes uninhabitable. Maritime boundaries are permanently fixed. The Falepili Union with Australia guarantees refuge for 280 Tuvaluans yearly, while respecting sovereignty. At the 2025 UN Ocean Conference, Tuvalu pushed for a global treaty on climate-displaced nations, establishing that countries don't cease to exist underwater. The question isn't just whether Tuvalu survives the next decade, it's whether the rest of the world steps up to help them fight for the next century, and what we learn from their struggle about the future of nations in an age of rising seas.